To create the Sleepy Hollow score, Burton reunited with Danny Elfman, who composed the soundtracks for Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Edward Scissorhands, and Batman.
One of the nice things working with Tim is he never really talks in musical terms. He'll always talk in terms of how something makes him feel.
The strings should come right up. They should get very emotional right away.
These types of films are something that's more of a feeling than it is a verbalization. I think that's the power of horror movies, is that they hit you on an emotional level.
Once I saw the footage and the surreal quality of the landscape, to me the landscape dictated so much. I was often in Tim's films. I knew pretty early on that it was going to be heavy, yet I knew because it was Tim that it was going to be fun. I've been having a bit of fun with some of the low stuff. The scene where the horseman breaks into the family's house is quite chilling. I knew I wanted it to be intense. I knew that I would really enjoy that, and I did.
Determined to solve the mystery at all costs, Ichabod attempts to enlist the townspeople to search for clues.
Gentlemen, I need able men to go with me into the western woods. Who's with me?
The western woods just outside of town are a place that no one goes to. It's haunted. It's dark, twisted, the work of the devil. So the look of the film really gives you that impression of what it would be for the people who live in Sleepy Hollow, a place they don't go. It looks like poison.
The western woods were constructed on one of the largest sound stages in the world, which gave the filmmakers total control over the elements.
Smoke at the back, please.
We're dealing with atmosphere, smoke, fog, which are much easier to control on stage. And just the type of look that we wanted to get in terms of those old-fashioned horror movies where the stage look is part of the fabric of it.
Building the western woods, that was an enormous task in and of itself because we weren't creating a real forest. What we were doing was getting sort of a fierce thicket of trees.
When I saw it, I mean, just, it's so beautiful and everything's so intricate.
Amazing. It takes over a whole stage. It's mysterious, it's deep, it's up and down hills. All the trees are dead.
Quicken pace.
We really created the scary woods feeling that you get in the Grimm's fairy tales, where the little child in you is afraid to go into the woods.
The centerpiece of the forest is the horseman's resting place, a gateway between this world and the netherworld.
The Tree of the Dead.
It does announce itself.
The Tree of the Dead is like a beautiful sculpture. It's very emotional. This kind of enormous, gnarled thing. So it gives the impression that it's gonna reach out and snatch you up, you know, swallow you.
And Ichabod at one point finds a suture in the tree, and he sees a little trickle of what he thinks is sap, and ends up becoming blood.
The tree bleeds?
And he takes an axe to it, breaks it wide open, and he finds these heads.
One of the film's most startling effect sequences involved the horseman's emergence from his resting place.
What we are seeing here is a blue screen element of a horse and rider, which we're going to put in a shot of the horseman exiting the tree, which is essentially a gateway to hell. This is a background element to be used in this shot. It has the actors in the scene, but there's no horse or horseman. The next element that we're seeing here is an element of fog for this plate, both foreground and background fog. Also, he's kicking up a lot of leaves and things into the air. And in this shot, we didn't have a blue screen shot of an actual horse to use, so we had to create a horse in the computer as well as the headless horseman. So those are both digital elements in this shot. In addition to that, we wanted to have fog that's being disturbed by the horse and the rider as they come through the fog. And here's the final shot with all the elements put together. Here we can see the leaves being blown by the horse and rider, which were from the blue screen plate, You can also see, in a subtle way, the fog is being disturbed by the horseman as he rides through it.
Ichabod?
For all of its horror, Sleepy Hollow also showcases Burton's distinctive sense of humor.
Do you know of the horseman, Mom? That'll be him, ma'am.
I don't know if any other director would have made this movie as tongue-in-cheek as he's sort of making it. And that just works so much better.
I think humor is very important to Tim. He's in fact a very funny guy.
Ready for a little blood test?
Tim, I think anytime it's possible to splatter Johnny with blood, he, takes the opportunity very happily.
It's bleeding. There's a great sense of humor and enjoyment on the set. He seems to enjoy everything so much, and that relaxes everybody.
He really loves making movies, and he gets excited about it, and seeing him get excited about it makes you excited about it.
Turn over! 144, Apple, take 6. Action.
The film features a number of action set pieces.
We've done a hell of a lot of action. We've got all kinds of sword fighting. We have a fantastic sequence down in the church, and we'll be flying another guy out through the window.
Sir, you're not dead.
Not yet. It's a really brutal, really physical, really intense movie.
Where are we going?
Anywhere but here.
One of the most complex scenes was a coach chase through the western woods.
The horseman is chasing Ichabod, Katrina, and young Maspat through the forest, which we built on the stage.
The scene would take 3 weeks to shoot. Planning for the numerous stunts began several months earlier when the horses went into training.
This is Daredevil. This is the lead horse. And we've got 2 of these that we've purchased from Seville in Spain. And they're just in the process now of having all the tricks taught them, the rears, the lay down, the gallop on the spot and everything else. It takes 2 years to train those properly for a film. But these boys are good. They've got brains, these Spanish horses. They're good to work with.
Stand by to rehearse.
Several coaches were designed specifically for the film, each with a different purpose.
I've had to build 4 different coaches. The hero one has got brakes and it's got steering inside. We beef all the suspension up, we've made roll cages in it. And then there's the stunt one, there's the pyro one, and then there's the crashing one. L5, actually, there's one on the back of a flatbed truck, so we can actually put the artists on it and have them run up and down the set.
The range of stunts would include sword play, coach transfers, and elaborate falls.
And then a bit of that wobbling thing with a leg over.
Nick Gillard, the stunt coordinator, is just fantastic. What's great about him is that he has a great sense of humor, and he allows that to sort of creep into his stunts.
Ichabod!
He's been knocked off the top of the coach and lands on the horseman's horse, but he lands on it the wrong way round.
It's the kind of stuff that the audience would be riveted to, and then something happens that's very funny. It's got a real life to it.
For Depp, the most physically demanding part of the sequence occurred after he is thrown from the coach.
They said, take hold of this strap of leather and the horses are going to drag you, you know.
Here we go!
We don't want anything to happen to Johnny, so we put him in like bulletproof body armor underneath his costume. We tie him on, but through a quick release system, just in case anything goes wrong, he can release himself.
Stand by! Turn over! Action!
It wasn't a problem being dragged by horses. The only thing I was slightly leery of was that they might, sort of relieve themselves on the journey.
If you are wise, you will leave this place.
We are dealing with a madman.
Sleepy Hollow is a combination of horror, nightmare, and humor.
Good luck, sir. If you need any help, you call my name. Much appreciated.